Let me move on to uh, briefly describe what web scraping is. So in today's world, we play with data a lot, not just in data science, even in any projects that you do these days. We need to be working on data. So the websites are indeed the most common source of data, and whenever we have to collect data from a website, manually searching through them is not the only option. We can automate these searches using a few lines of Python code. So the thing is, there are two main ways of gathering information from the uh, web. These are one is through the APIs. Some of the websites provide APIs or application programming interfaces, and if you have suitable software that latch with these APIs, you can download the data which those websites allow you to download. And other way is web scraping. This is quite what we are going to do. And web scraping requires some effort from our part as well while designing the code in understanding how the website is structured exactly. So uh, these APIs allow access in a predefined manner. That means if I have a website and I have an API associated with it, I can decide what you can collect from my website through that API. So almost all websites these days have APIs, and these are not what we are going to discuss here, but you can always refer to that link. So with APIs, the data gathering process is more stable as it is generally consumed by programs. So is web scraping legal? That element, that legality of web scraping is always an element in question. Any data that is publicly available and not copyrighted is a fair game, as a general thumb rule. But commercial use of scrape data is still under question. Recently, there was a lawsuit where LinkedIn, which allowed or disallowed using LinkedIn data, uh, something associated with LinkedIn, but you can find that in the news. Well, in automated web scraping, the idea is that you write the code once and use it whenever you need to collect the data from one or more web pages. That means, suppose you are doing a job search, and suppose you are looking at the vacancies that open at say glassdoor.com, and suppose you are looking at, the basic structure of the website, how the search bar is, or where you can get the data from. Once that you know that, you can construct a code such that running that code will give you the data that you're looking for instead of look uh, manually looking for the that particular job opportunity that you need. So suppose you are looking for a job opportunity that doesn't open up every day. Say it is say say you need to look at it at once a week. So maybe an automated script can help you. uh, yeah, things like that. So this is useful even in research, if you have to scrape similar web pages. uh, you you can have an idea of the structure of the web page, and use by knowing the URL you can scrape it. So, what are the challenges here? Well, every website is different, and websites are dynamic. Information change. The structure of a website changes. So, the code that you will build will probably require constant maintenance. You need to really see the HTML structure in order to scrape it. So this is true with APIs as well. So let us look into a URL of a website. So as you know, consider a Wikipedia URL about Juneteenth. So every URL has a base part and some query parameters. Suppose you are going into Wikipedia's search bar and you are typing Juneteenth. Now, this part of the URL is the base URL, and the remaining part that specifies the search parameter separated by an ampersand. So Juneteenth ampersand title equal to this one and ampersand this one. So that part is called the section on query parameters. So whatever search that you are giving in Wikipedia, this base URL will be the same. The only thing that changes would be the query parameters. So knowing this, uh, we can look into a website now. Now, if you go into a website, here now I have opened this web page in Chrome, and I can simply do a right click and inspect this page. Okay.
Okay.
So this will open up the HTML structure of this page down, and here you can, if you hover over it, no, no, yeah, if you hover over this, you can see the parts in this page highlighted. Okay, so with some basic knowledge of HTML, we can figure out without knowing HTML in full how these things work. So here, suppose that now we need to find a way to extract the data in this web page into Python and use it. So now I think those of you who want to try the tutorial with me can open the terminal. Okay. So, and you can open that tutorial to the link, the first link that I posted. All right. My terminal is visible, right?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Now, first of all, I hope you have Python 3 installed. So if not, if you're using a Mac, you can, and you have Homebrew, you can simply do brew install Python 3 and it will be installed in a few seconds. Now just check the version of Python 3 that you have. So I have the latest one. Now this, it's always useful to check which Python 3 you have by default, and then now, okay, so when you're doing any project, it's always advisable to kind of create a new environment and put your project files within that. So I'm going to make an environment using make directory. So I'm going to cd into that. All right, now I'm going to create a new environment called myen in that directory. So if you cd into that and list out the files, you can see these files. Uh, so this bin contains an activate script that is required to activate this environment. So for that, I will simply run this command. So, all right. Now we begin installing the two libraries that we need. One is the request library, and the other is beautiful soup. So I install requests, and I do pip install beautiful soup 4. Okay, so we are all set now. And now we need to simply step into the Python console. For that, you just need to type Python 3.9. You are in the console. Well, now you have to import requests, and uh, this request library has a function which enables us to fetch the contents of the web of a website into Python. So for this, you simply need to provide the URL. So here we need to be aware of Internet Archives, and which is a very good option to scrape data from without worrying about the legalities. So, and suppose that you are okay. First, let us scrape this one, Juneteenth. Okay, so I just simply copy paste it. Okay, sorry. Okay, now URL is set to Juneteenth Wikipedia page, and then I create a page object, which is uh, using the request library get function. Now you have a page object, which is a response object, and you get to see the code 200. That is the status code, and the status is nothing but you have all of you might be familiar with for not for page not found status. It's just an HTTP status. So 200 means the page has been downloaded correctly. So now the page object has the web page which you gave in this URL variable. All right. Now what you're going to do is um, create a okay, so simply typing page.text will give you the entire HTML content of that web page, which is again very difficult to understand. So what I do is I create a beautiful soup object using this command. Sorry, yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't import the beautiful soup library. Okay. So after importing the beautiful soup library, I just create a soup object using beautiful soup method uh, and basic HTML parser. Now, now you have the content that you're looking for in that soup object. Um, to show this content in a legible form, we use the prettify function. So that function is overloaded with this object. So you can write. Okay, so this has printed out the HTML content in the same way that it appeared in that DOM. Now, I would like to introduce you to these HTML tags. So in an HTML file, you use various tags, and for paragraphs, you have P. So in order to find all the paragraphs in that soup content, what I'm going to do now, yeah. So I did a find all P, which printed out, which gave me all the content with P tags. That means all paragraphs. Now, uh, this uh, is a list object in Python. So the first paragraph can be accessed using zero index. So, so. I'm getting an error here. 1 second. Okay, the first two were empty. Now you get the this. If you compare it with the web page, you can see the first paragraph here. Like that, you can get any content. Oh, sorry, in syntax. So you can get run through paragraphs using the p tag there. Now, uh, yeah. So here, suppose that I was using that archives page. That is something interesting to show. Well, oh my god. So I reinitialize URL again. And I do the same thing. Um, I create the soup object. Now, so in this archive page, are you able to see my web page?
Yes.
Yeah, the collection, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Again, if you inspect this, you can see that we are looking to extract out the artist names from this web page. Now, if I'm doing it, if I have to do it, I need to first understand where this artist names are in this web page. So, I just wanted to show it here, but now I can't find it. Well, it's in class body text. I'll just copy paste the commands and show it. So here, I just extracted out all the art. I created an artist name list uh, by using this class. Where I got this information is actually from that DOM, but I couldn't find it now. Well, to and why I did this is uh, the A tag means there is a link associated with it from this web page. We found out that each of these artist names are actually uh, has a links to another a page that describes about this artist. So a link is always in HTML denoted by a tag. So from the list that I created, I extracted out I found using find out function. I extracted out all tags with a. Next, I shall print what I've got and see in what form it is. So artist name list items is a list, and I need to iterate through that list to print out. So here, and I use the prettify function so that it comes out in a readable form. You see the artist names along with the URLs. but we simply need to find this artist, know these artist names, and we need to print this out. So we have to remove this information as well. For that, you go back to that web page, inspect that DOM again, and find out that it is within a table class called alpha and so to remove this, I use a decompose method. And I do the same again. Print out using prettify function. Okay, so it did remove the last parts. It still hasn't removed the URLs. So from each of these tags, you have to extract out the artist names now. So this, I will tweak that for loop a bit and simply print using contents. All right. So what I did here is, instead of printing the entire link and the tag associated with it, we print the list uh, which contains the artist name. So this dot contents function returns a Python list that has the children of that particular tag. So the command that we used here is artist name dot contents, where this artist name originally had names of these artists along with the tags. Yeah. So I guess that's all that I wanted to show. Um, well, if you have questions, open to take.